So we're happy to serve them up again. As Councillor Wood says, this is all about fairness, and this better represents our rates as far as the fact that every Aucklander has equal access, every property owner, to council services, amenities and infrastructure. And I think one of the issues we always have, and I think the staff communicated this as best they can, is that when we go out in submission form of do you support a higher fixed charge, human nature takes over, and often you see people go no, and but when you go to the Have Your Say events and talking around the tables of Oraki and Howick and North Shore and other places, people do talk it through and understand it and can see the common sense in it. I know that this is at the top end of it, but I also note that Councillor Wood, who ran a very successful council over on the North Shore for a number of years, also ran 30% or approximately a 900 UAGC or equivalently. And this is a note to the higher valued properties in Auckland, and it doesn't take much to be a higher valued property. Even little old Meadowbank's a $1 million suburb now, Mr Mayor. These areas have been socked repeatedly. They were the ones, ironically, that were out there booing the anti-amalgamation protesters, because Auckland City and others were quite encouraged by the real promise of amalgamation and the fact that it would hopefully contain costs, reduce staff, and deliver some real economies of scale and see those rates increases flatten out. That was the promise. And since then, many have been facing year-on-year 10% rates increases. As some of us are concerned with that cap disappearing, some will be seeing 20% rates increases with no cap, no transition. Some might be seeing 40% and so on. Not just some, but many thousands. And so this is about some fairness after those people in high valued properties paying much higher rates and big rates increases over the last 4 years, to see some fairness introduced to our rating system. I note, Mr Mayor, just to wind up, that we've been passing unsuccessfully UAGC amendments, 3rd of November 2011, 23rd of May 2012, 9th of May 2013, and Councillor Dick Quacks and I tried a 551 on the 5th of November 2014 for consultation. But I am encouraged, Mr Mayor, that so many centre-left councillors voted for a regressive tax yesterday that they will have no hesitation in adding to the front page news today and supporting this amendment. So I encourage you all, the time has come for a higher UAGC. I'm pitching it up higher. Councillor Wood is coming in at a more strategic, more moderate, more pragmatic way, but I certainly, for those that believe in the concept of a higher UAGC, I put it out to you, support a 900 or approximately 900, 30% of the total rates, because this will be our last chance until 2018. Previously we've debated this annually, but it's becoming increasingly clearer because it's a significant rating policy. It's now a triennial issue, and so we've got to get it right. This is the first and last time that we'll have a chance today to set the UAGC for the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor King. Okay, my suggestions, I say, it's a very, very, very well-trod path. Yeah. And so what I think we'll do, we'll put Councillor Woods, Councillor Brewer's proposal for a, now you need to change that, a uniform charge, maximum charge possible, something like that. So the maximum 30%.
Yeah, maximum 30% or approximately $900, whatever comes first.
So they're independent of one another, Mr Mayor?
Yeah, we see that, Councillor.
Yeah. So people can vote for both?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, ready?
By division on that.
by
first
Yes,
one.
of course, yeah,
Yeah, we like these ones, they do. Get our numbers
I'd
going.
like to see my photo in the paper with a tick beside it.
Yeah, tick. Tick, tick.
I'm looking for another unopposed.
Your worship?
No.
Councillor Nye,
No.
Councillor Brewer,
4.
Councillor Casey,
No.
Councillor Cashmore,
No.
Councillor Clow, Councillor Cooper,
Against.
Councillor Darby,
No.
Councillor Filipaina,
Against?
Councillor Councillor Crum,
Against.
Councillor Lee,
No.
Councillor Penrose,
No.
Councillor Quacks,
Yes.
Councillor Stewart,
Yes.
Member Taipari,
No.
Member Namane,
No.
Councillor Wayne Walker,
No.
Councillor Watson,
No.
Councillor Wood,
Yes.
Councillor Webster.
No.
There's lions outside of the chamber and kittens inside.
No idea. What does that mean? Is that from the Lion King?
You know what it means?
Very good.
Actually, Councillor Quacks is using a lot of sort of anomaly analogies around lines over the last couple of days. Okay, it's lost 16-4. Put the second amendment, and that is 500.
By division then, please.
Yes, of course. No.
Councillor Nye,
No.
Councillor Brewer,
4.
Councillor Casey,
No.
Councillor Cashmore,
No.
Councillor Clow, Councillor Cooper,
What?
Councillor Darby,
4.
Councillor Filipaina,
Against?
Councillor Crum,
What?
Councillor Lee,
No.
Councillor Penrose,
No.
Councillor Quacks,
Yes.
Councillor Stewart,
Yes.
Member Taipari,
No.
Member Namane,
No.
Councillor Wayne Walker.
No.
Councillor Watson.
No.
Councillor Webster.
Yes.
Councillor Wood.
Yes.
And myself?
Councillor Fletcher.
Yes. What you writing? Yes.
Started on.
Lost 12, no.
Right, it's lost
Mr.
12 to 9.
Mr Chair,
Yes.
as per standing orders, I'd like to move UAGC of 450. I didn't mention that before because I did not want to affect the strategy that people might be entertaining in voting for the previous two motions, but I would like to take advantage of standing orders and move a UAGC of 450. And members, I won't take a long speech. I think Councillor Wood has said it well, but I want you to remember and just look at some of those numbers that our community is suffering under, and it's the capital value system that is really hurting, and we've got to ameliorate some of that impact. This is the way. Please don't get glued to ideology here. This is hurting.
Yep, and that's what we attempted to address a little
So
bit.
it's a reasonable 450 members, and it reflects what's happened in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Councillor Darby, I'll reflect back to you, and I was listening as closely as anyone was. 70% of people wanted 385 or under. Now, you want to open up this can of worms, you'll get people moving under 385.
Absolutely.
So I actually think that the community had a really long, hard look at this. They've been debating it for a long time. They understand what a UAGC is. And you know, I know this chamber reflects some of the balance, but if I felt that in fact there was a reasonable shot to address an inequity in some other way, and we have, then I would have moved a higher sum myself. But I looked long and hard at what the community had to say, and they were pretty clear, 70%.
And I'm just reflecting on
Yep.
yesterday as well, which the public, it's new to them. So, and And I'm taking all that into account as well. And I acknowledge my support of yesterday's transport levy.
Yeah, that's good. Okay,
Which is regressive.
I wish to speak.
yes,
It's 450.
yeah.
And you would know.
Hey, Dick, you ready for your 425 one? Ready
Right.
for 425?
Okay,
Get 390
Second
for
up.
victory.
that's right. Look, probably within my rights to rule this out, but we're going to do it anyhow.
Well done, Chris.
Right. Speakers? Councillor Cathy.
Well, if it's open season on the UAGC, there'll be 3 amendments coming from this side of the room.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should rule it out.
Oh, why? Democracy.
Yeah, it's, councillor, even though we didn't specifically, you know, what we asked the community to look for wasn't including this figure. Look, I'm prepared to accept this one and just move. All right? So you could have a long debate about this or have a short one. I won't accept anything more on this. And now I've heard really a lot of the discussion already. Councillor Darby has basically put it up there as an option, and we understand exactly what is being proposed here. You know, you could go back to 400, you could go back to 425, and at the end of the day, this is a very, very minimal change with no real benefit. So, look, I just wonder whether the best idea is just to get on, put it, and move on to the next, because there's not a hell of a lot more that could be said. Exactly what would be said on this one would be said on anything else. So, really, councillors, just get on. Okay, so it's by division.
Point of order, I actually wanted to speak. I actually think this might get passed.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you, Ross.
you know, this terribly regressive yesterday. I don't know, it seems a move to go and sock the poor again. This is going to make things more regressive. Doesn't matter whether it's $65 or whatever, or whether it goes to 500 or every dollar above $3.85 makes our system more regressive.
You're right. And look, but we can, that's a message that is clearly understood around the chamber. And so, and the message from a different perspective is clearly understood too. So, you know, I totally get it. But we have really, I think, completely clarified all the issues. All right? So I just think that we need to get on and put it. I don't see any real purpose in continuing to debate it because we completely understand the issue.
And the rates transition.
I don't.
Councillor Mike, you have anything new to add to this?
Yeah, I do actually. This so-called levy, which everyone was bold and courageous putting it up yesterday and visionary.
That's right.
And apparently not so bold and courageous this morning.
Yeah, it's hurting.
Is really a UAGC. Right. And in effect, it alters the UAGC already against the interests of lower value properties and in the interests of higher value properties. So this will just exacerbate what happened yesterday. And I think people were voting on it not in terms of a UAGC, which it really was, but the so-called levy, which is illegal nonsense. So we've already altered the UAGC, folks, and I would be strongly opposed to any change against the response of the public in
Point
terms
of
of
order,
our consultation.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Point of order, can we get some clarification on that? Because my understanding that what we passed yesterday was a targeted rate which sits outside the formulation of the general rate.
Yes, absolutely it does.
Here's
You
the
don't
same
even need to get that explained because you know it. We all know it. And
Well, then to
but,
say that
but
was
it is a
wrong.
flat. It is a flat
That's right.
charge, and in that sense, it is regressive, and that was accepted, and it was accepted in that discussion on the basis that people understood that it would moderate some of the impacts of a UAGC set at
But it does not give us a
485
485 UAGC. That impression is wrong.
Well, whatever, it does have that impact.
The effect is
We
the
recognise
same.
that, councillor Ross highlighted that, everyone voted on the basis of that. So, on that basis, I want us to get on with this. So, can we please put it by way of vote?
Your Worship,
No.
councillor Nye,
No.
councillor Brewer,
Or,
councillor Casey,
No.
councillor Cashmore,
No.
councillor Clow,
No.
councillor Cooper,
No.
councillor Darby,
Yes.
councillor Filipaina,
No.
councillor Fletcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hulse,
No.
councillor Crum,
Or.
councillor Lee,
No.
councillor Penrose,
no,
councillor Quacks,
Yes.
councillor Stewart,
Yes.
member Taipari,
No.
member Namane,
No.
councillor Wayne Walker,
no,
councillor Watson,
No.
councillor Webster,
No.
councillor Wood.
Yes.
I wish to move 399.
I wish for councillor Brewer to have an early cup of tea. Okay, 7:15. Okay, right, thank you very much, councillors. Now we're going to go to B, which is the business differential strategy. Okay, so what we've done here, and again, this matches up to a lot of the discussion that was had yesterday, and you'll recall that originally we went to the community with a 11-year program. Having listened again to another quite firm response by the community, and also to the views of the business community, I want to accept that I think that where we've ended up with at 20 years, with basically 0.5% shifts a year, does one reflect, I think, the essential need for us to arrive at a fairer apportionment of rates to business, and then secondly, though, that we would do it over a much longer time frame to recognise the impact that the residential community was reflecting back to us. So, of course, this has changed down apportionment of rates to the residential community for this change of 0.5% through this year's budget and through the final 9 years of the 10-year budget. Now, a lot of you have raised the question, or some of you have raised the question, you know, why do we even do this? And I just hope that the supporting documentation, I think one or two of you asked for, so what was the reason why we made the change in 2012? And there was very clear information at that point in time. In fact, there was plenty of it. So I hope that you've taken the opportunity of reading through and understanding that there are legal statutory obligations as well as obligations that relate to fairness and equity in the rating system. So for all of those reasons, I think we need to continue to keep faith with the business community, although at the same time recognise that there will be a fairly slow program of change towards a point of reasonable fairness. Councillor Bill, do you want to add something to what I had to say there, with your interesting Franklin and business hat on?
So the people in Franklin, sir, in the business world, as you know, have gone from a 1.1 differential to heading to a 2.1, 2.2 this next 18 months or so. So they've been through a fairly vigorous process of uplift in their rates bills. And I was always of the ilk that we should stick to our guns and drop that business percentage down. However, the transport tariff targeted rate puts a different spin on that now, and I think the businesses are quite a winner from yesterday's movement, and they would understand the fact that stretch this out now for additional 10 years, under the proviso, of course, that it can be re-looked at again in 2018, and that after the next revaluation, the levers may have changed. So we're not removing it, we're still letting the fall occur to a more realistic level, more sustainable level, but there is the opportunity to review that should capital value reviews move and the actual basic numbers change. And I think that's the critical point. The valuations this time really screwed the rates thing to the residential people.
Yep.
And it's a matter of fairness and equity, just like our previous discussion, sir.